Hello. There we go.
Testing. Is it working? No,
It's not that now it is.
There you go.
And I'm way too close to the mic. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How fucking good was that movie?
Your paycheck is coming in the mail?
That was
Oh my God.
unbelievable. No, this is pro bono. This was fantastic, guys. By the way, writer-director STUART GATT. And my unbelievably talented friend, ERIN Moriarty. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Stuart, I just really want to quickly start with you. You wrote this, you directed this. Where did this idea come from? How did this get started for you?
So I'm from the UK. I've got nothing to do with Texas, but for some reason I was having a lot of images that would pop into my head with like a trailer in the middle of the desert. Sometimes, I'm a bit of a daydreamer and some ideas stick, and that image just kept replaying in my head. Mm-hmm. And you become curious about who might live there, why there's a trailer in the desert, and then it develops into what it is now.
Oh my God, incredible. And then ERIN, I watch you act a lot, obviously. This is some of the best work I've ever seen you do.
That's very,
ever.
very, 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 very kind.
Congratulations. No, that was incredible.
Thank you.
How did you get involved in this project?
Honestly, through my manager Jeremy, who's here, he knows John Katz, one of our executive producers who can't be here today, but we adore. And they were talking about something else, and John mentioned this film, I think, and then that script was sent to me, and I would just remember it was such. It's funny, you get sent a lot of scripts, and when you get sent a good independent feature, and I say independent because there's license for the director and the writer and whomever the creative leads on the project are, for them to really have control over it. And so you get sent an independent feature that just is such an obvious guess, and it just was, even just reading the script alone and reading scripts alone that I love in independent features specifically in that realm just gives, it sounds really saccharine and dejected at the same time, but it gives me hope that they still are out there. So then when we met, it was just this, it was I forget what happened, the way you said something in the meeting, but I was waiting. It was one of those rare meetings where I was like, well, this can't not happen. This can't not. And then it did, because I read Gina, and it just was it's these characters that you put in a box, especially the female characters, and then bring out of the box. They surprise you, and you assume they're one thing, and they turn into another. My favorite. So, this dude, basically, and the script he wrote, and the quality of it.
You guys had the actor-director meeting.
We did via Zoom.
This is a real move. This is
yeah.
Did you guys meet for? Was it like a meet for lunch?
No,
was
we met via Zoom because you were in London.
Zoom.
Yeah,
of course.
He lives in London full time. He's like a London boy. He was in London. We met via Zoom, and this was still pandemic-y time, shortly before the time when we stopped all wearing masks on set. But yeah, we did it on Zoom, and I just remember it was one of those meetings where we just couldn't stop talking, right? Yeah, that was great.
Was this one of those? I don't know, because you shot this. When did you guys shoot this?
Gosh, what we?
So we shot.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
we shot 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was
right.
that still mask up?
It was still a lot of the SAG rules were still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Were
God.
you were, yeah, that's right.
I got COVID right before we started shooting.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh.
were, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that, but congratulations on the film, not the COVID. You guys, this was the ultimate one location movie, and you guys shot this. I just found out because I was like, that's too pretty to be America. But where was the shot?
We shot in the Canary Islands in Spain.
It's gorgeous. It's unbelievably gorgeous.
It is. The thing is, my producer and I, we spent a lot of time scouting the Big Bend in Texas where the film's set. And that's so beautiful, incredibly beautiful. But the thing which is a good thing about America is that the most beautiful spots are usually the most protected. It's not easy to go out there and shoot. And the ones that are less protected, there's a lot of infrastructure around. You couldn't shoot 360. And we wanted something that allowed us to build the set on location and have completely unhindered shooting ability. So our producers were like, why don't we look at the Canary Islands? And I was like, that's never going to work, it's Spain. As soon as I went there, I was blown away. And actually, this spot we found was it gave us the most freedom, whilst not being completely in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we're 15, I can't remember, 15, 20 minutes away from our hotels
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And so was it always intended to be a one location film? I mean, you go to town for that,
That was
for
random.
that
That was
part.
a crazy day.
Yeah.
Oh my
Was
God.
that a crazy day?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was great.
No, it was just crazy to leave that set because that was the only, I mean, literally the whole concept of the film is that I'm kind of suffocating in this one environment and I'm stuck there. So leaving that day, because like it was weird, it was crazy. I was like, oh my God, Gina's out on the town, but not in a very glorified way.
I thought we all got freaked out that day. We were just so used to doing
We
it.
were so used to it. It was like a play. I keep saying that it felt like a play because such a few amount of characters and, but yeah.
It was, I mean, it was always intended that, I think, you know, at first you start writing something like this and you go, oh, this could work for it because it's my debut feature, this is cheap, this could work for a thing. And then but then I started to realize actually that the device of not leaving was increased, it creates like a pressure chamber. So it became more than just me thinking about being pragmatic. It was more about going, actually, well, this, in the same way a play can create that kind of feeling. It was about doing that and intensifying and creating this I felt that there was something unique about the idea of the isolation and it intensifying the pressure that she's under to understand who she is and who she can be in the world.
Yeah. No, sorry, what's
Yeah, no,
One
wait,
second.
we're doing good.
No, it's incredible how much that just traps everyone in. Like no one can leave. You know, even the couple from the city's like, we're trapped here for 22 days. Was that it? 20, okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Erin, I want to talk to you about, I want to talk to you about this character. I know that you have incredible ways of getting into character. What did you do to prepare for this role? I'm gonna guess there were some art classes?
I actually did take art classes.
There you
and
go.
also that painting, it's weird, I forgot about so many things because I forgot about very few things, but a few really important things, which is that painting on the thing was totally me. Yeah.
That was you?
Yeah, completely. That was all me, and then I'm not saying that to say like, it just was a very visceral like process, and I just like, listen, it was throwing paint and it was emotional. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and you very intentionally wanted that to be me. But outside of that, I took painting lessons, and I have photographs of the first paintings I made, and I took painting lessons. Honestly, the drawings themselves at the beginning, it was like those drawings were really good. They were not my drawings, and it became more so about me finding out what the drawings and the painting meant for her, and these things became her art became a catharsis for her, and I don't think she was even fully aware of that, or she was, but my way into it was finding what is the emotional significance of these drawings and of this art to her, because I am not a great drawer. That's the primary thing I had to take lessons on, and I think it became pretty apparent from the get-go that if someone else is gonna draw it, I'm just gonna emulate it. But it was about what it meant to her, obviously, and that's kind of what I tapped into. But the painting was fun. There's something about throwing paint. It's truly cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you? Because I know you also do playlists for characters.
I do, and I have one.
Yeah. Do you have any?
You have my phone.
Oh, I do have your phone.
You have my phone. Yes, I have a playlist for every character and every prep. Yeah, all my prep process. Yeah, for every character it's a little bit different, but obviously. But
yeah, what
for
you got? What's on the playlist?
Let's look, guys. It's gonna be like Tina Fey. I'm kidding. Spotify.
It's gonna be Tina Fey.
I'm kidding. Okay, let's see.
I was like, Tina Fey has a band. Of course she does.
Okay, so it's Gina / Dredge, because we called our group Dredge, because Dina, Ryan, Aaron, Jai. It's a lot of Hosier, Alabama Shakes.
My favorite.
There's this one song by the Alabama Shakes called "This Feeling," which I think you know well.
The best.
The best
yes.
feeling, the best song.
Do you actually
Excuse
know
me.
these songs?
I know I do.
No,
I'm a
we
huge-
have a fair
Oh, you know, yeah.
But it's a beautiful song, and actually the lyrics are very melancholic, and it's a beautiful song because it's not a happy song, it's a sad song, and she's like, but I just have this feeling that I'm gonna be alright. It's a very, she's like, I just keep going, and it's been fucking tough, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna be okay. But that's reductive summation of it, excuse me. Yeah, Alabama Shakes. What else? To Build a Home by the Cinematic Orchestra, which if you know,
I don't know that.
Okay. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I say those are the ones that are worth mentioning.
By the way, all of them are downloaded. Just a thing. They all have the green arrow. They're all just in case the reception goes out.
I've posted playlists before, and people have called out on the fact that my songs aren't downloaded. I create playlists for every character.
People call you out because songs aren't downloaded?
Yeah, they're like, you didn't make this for real, they're not downloaded. I was like, bruh, test me.
That's
Anyway,
such a weird
so I made one for
complaint,
Gina.
sorry.
I know. And then it was accent. I worked with a brilliant accent coach named Jerome Butler, who, again, I got through my manager, Jeremy. He was just so good. I did so many hours of that work because honestly, for me, prep is really just so that I don't feel anxious when I step on set, and I'm pretty type A minus. I would say type A in recovery, but like I need to prep anything to even like an unreasonable degree just to feel like I'm okay on set. And so I didn't want to do the role unless I knew the accent was going to be so well prepared and perfect. So I did hours and hours with Jerome, and he was amazing, and that was a huge part. And if you heard the woman that I listened to every day, who was the template, like, for learning this accent, it was just, I played her every morning before set. It's just such a random news clip of this woman talking about this guy doing the Lord's work, and it was just hilarious. But yeah.
Did you have a thing that you said, I feel like sometimes, every time you do an accent, sometimes people have kind of an in sentence, like to get into the voice. Did you have that?
Oh my God, I did, but it was this one, it was like, oh God, it was this woman's whole speech on the news. She was like, what, oh God, I don't remember. She was like, I swear, I swear to God, I swear, you're just, stop it. She was just saying, she was talking to this guy who she like really admired, and it was something like, I swear, it was like, okay, so I'm trying to, I don't remember it because my memory is actually ironically really bad. Like if you use the tip of your tongue in a different placement when you're speaking in Western Texan accents. And so it was a lot of like S's and like any type of word that would bring that like to my, like that would make my mouth basically be put in the right position. But it was funny because since we were filming in Spain, I rotated between American accent, Spanish speaking, and West Texan accent throughout the whole day.
Oh, kind of blends together.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
No, of course. No,
Yeah.
you are
Flows.
your environment very much. And so, Stuart, really quickly, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, this movie kind of reminds us of like old Hollywood westerns. But I'm just curious, like beyond that, beyond like we say it feels like a play, and I mean that in the best way. What were some of your influences? And was it just westerns, or was it? I'm sure it's a multitude of things.
So I definitely leaned on, I wouldn't say there was really a specific film I could mention that I would say, but I was very aware of the vernacular that had been created cinematically by the Western genre.
Mm-hmm.
And so that for sure is present in many forms. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it's probably stuff that's infected me subconsciously that's there. Like we done a Q&A earlier at Kodak and someone went, oh, you done the Searchers shot.
Oh
And
yeah.
I went, oh yeah, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I was like, oh yeah,
I
Searchers
don't know
shot.
what you're talking
Does
Yeah,
he
I know,
mean?
oh, yeah,
I assume he means
yeah.
through the
Through
door,
exactly,
looking out
yeah.
on the big
But
vista.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. So there's probably so much there, and I couldn't tell you exactly where it comes from. But I was very aware of the genre I was operating in and trying to operate within the premises that audiences know and understand, and then finding where I could try and put my own stamp. So yeah.
I think you definitely did that. I love this sequence. Sorry, just because I really love this sequence. I wonder if you could talk about it a little bit. It's both couples, you're cutting between both couples arguing as you kind of push in on windows, and then we're in with both of them. I just found that so fascinating to watch. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I think that came from, because I knew this was really 4 characters in one location, there was a lot more pressure on me, I think, as a director to try and create more interesting visual language and find ways that you could explore these couples. Because the thing is, like, if you go in conventionally and just do everything in a 1 or 2 shot, everyone will be bored within 30 seconds. So it was about how can we find interesting ways to tell their story and explore them and reimagine what we're seeing. And there felt something voyeuristic about that idea in that moment, and I don't know why it came. It's funny because I remember Jai came on set that day and he's like, why have you set it up like this if you got no time to shoot it properly? I was like, no, this is by design,
Yeah.
So
So used to that.
yeah, So it's just one of those things. It felt like the right idea in the moment, and a lot of people compliment that, and I do like that moment. Actually, it feels like a sort of window into the world of them in some way.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So ERIN, I also wanted to ask you, obviously chemistry is very important between cast members. I think this is a question for both of you. For Stuart, what was your experience like casting this wonderful group of actors and finding like the perfect flavor for each character? And then ERIN, I mean, if your Instagram is any indication, you guys had a very good time on this. Like, you guys bonded. What was that like, and what was it like hanging out with the cast off camera as well? Like, was that just a blast, or?
It was great. I would say that, like, the thing is, when you're playing characters like this, like, especially when, like, you know, all of them are in a state of crisis, right? And you're playing a character, I'm just thinking from my micro perspective, Gina, it's they're going through a lot, clearly, like state of crisis and like this accumulative like stress and suppression, and what we built for her backstory just like preloaded her into being in this state of like being a frog in a boiling water, and then this couple turns up, making her abundantly aware of the temperature of that water, right? So it's a lot going on, and the gravity, the emotional gravity, I just felt like these are those kinds of roles where if you let a second drop, like I feel like I betray them, and I just wanted to do her justice. So the fact that like we all got along offset was amazing, because that's like a mandatory precursor to feeling like you can be vulnerable, you can feel safe with someone, and you know, you have experiences where maybe that's not the case. So Jai and I went to get lunch prior to doing the movie, and within 5 minutes of meeting him, I knew that it was going to be good, because I knew Stuart by that point. I'd been talking to him, and Jai said something that was so generous and so clearly, and not even implying, but explicitly saying that he was there to support me and Gina's story. And I think that it's our story 100%, but for him to be able to say that, and it just, I think that if your objective is to, first and foremost, do your role justice, but secondly, to make your coworkers feel safe around you, those are the things that will that are within your control to make sure that you make the best possible movie, especially when you need to be that vulnerable. You know what it's like. You can't be vulnerable or in that raw of a state when you don't feel safe around people. So we felt so safe, it was very familial, and it led us to make this movie. And then also you need levity when like you're doing these scenes, and like it's so it's either that or you need therapy to be put into your contract. So it was lovely. It was just kind of it's what that ephemeral magical moment in time and the rarity of that chemistry is what made it so amazing, and also the fact that it was creatively fulfilling is like, yeah.
And those guys really done it on their own. I felt like you guys just bonded so quickly and easily and made that effort to do that. In regards to casting, you just get a lot of names pitched to you, and like Jai's name came up, and I was like, oh really, we can get Jai, and then ERIN's name came up, and I was like, we can get ERIN. I was like, okay, well, so, it all comes down to the meeting, you know, and like, it's really, like when I met with ERIN, within, like every kind of minute that progressed of the meeting, the more I could see Gina in her, and ERIN's very intelligent and very talented and very cerebral, when she was speaking about the character in the way that I saw her, and then was bringing and talking about ideas that I hadn't thought of that clearly would have made the character more 3D, and it's difficult to describe it. There's a feeling that you get when you speak to an actor and you know they're right for the role, and I felt that with her, and you know, no one could have done that better than she did.
Oh my God, crushed it. Oh my God.
We're all gonna touch these microphones. All of you will touch these microphones by the end of this. Just a quick addition to that. I know that whenever I'm in one of those meetings, be it on Zoom or whatever, and it's almost easier when you don't enjoy the script as much. You're kind of like,
oh yeah,
you're 75% there, but I'm assuming you were very nervous for this meeting because you read it and was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, I was nervous for the meeting, but I get these weird, contradictory, paradoxical feelings about roles like this, because I read them and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and then you experience them and it's all you want to do, and then it sets the bar so high. And I was like, I remember after we did this job, I was like, God damn it, he set the bar so high. Like our entire the creative like gratification of playing that character, and then the chemistry we all had. It was rare for the very reasons that like I also sometimes feel like it was very sad to conclude the film. So I was nervous leading up to it, but I just, you know what it was? It was like, okay, he's written a script of a certain level of quality, and there's a relative calmness around it because I usually take notes for scripts when I really like them and in general, because they're usually things that I will forget to touch on, and she was so layered and there were so many things that I wanted to touch on. So I just felt like this like protectiveness around this character, which is how I often feel about characters that I really love playing, this connection to her, but also at the same time, a protectiveness over my version of her that would happen if he cast me. And if he decided not to, I would trust him in doing that. And I only wanted to do her, like play her in a certain way. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so weird. I had this concept of her from the start, and I thought this is the way in which I want to live in her, and if he takes it, great, and if he doesn't, like, it just felt like a meeting that I wanted to take no matter what, because I felt like he would, you know, he had the mind and the writing skills of a director that I would want to form a connection with.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, and maybe I'm wrong, but often I find when I make a movie or TV show, whatever, it's a process of killing your darlings, and usually there's a scene or a moment or something that somehow had to be on the cutting room floor for whatever reason. And I wonder, is there any moment, I could be wrong, but is there any moment in this movie that you had to cut and you were like, damn it, I really wish that didn't have to happen.
Oh my god, I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I should have brought my microphone from home.
This is where I want to consult my producer and think if there was anything.
Was
there
there?
anything that we?
I can't think of.
There definitely shots. There was a lot of really beautiful shots that I was like, man. Which one? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the script. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was there
We
anything,
did
adding to
was
that,
it-
was there anything that the actors added that you were very surprised by?
So much. They're really authors in this work as well. Like the best example is that the kiss at the beginning with QUAID and Gina. That was ERIN, because I'd written that scene and it was just she comes in, tries to initiate a moment with him, and he pulls away without the kiss.
Mm.
And she was like, "No, you need to feel that."
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't convinced at first. I was like, "I don't know that you need to see that." And then she goes, "Let me just go with it," and they've done it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's exactly what the scene needed.
Mm.
And it was this really kind of tragic moment where she's trying to initiate some lust and desire from her partner, and he just can't get there.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's an example. There's so many of those.
I will give Jai credit though,
Just really quickly, I got my microphone so much. I can just yell.
You have the floor.
Which is, I'm giving Jai credit for something because he did something I'd never done before, which I loved, which is that he initiated the process of writing letters to each other as the characters
Ooh.
falling in love. And so we both agreed that one of the biggest things that we wanted, like one of our primary goals was to make sure that you felt the love that was once there, and the love that was still present, because that would equate to the loss and the gravity of the loss in the end and the heartbreak of it all. And it was just so important to us to kind of have their love story still somewhat present at the start. And so that moment for me seemed like a very obvious, or not very obvious, but a really lovely moment to show that. Like, I thought it would be so much more interesting, and we both did, and this is where Jai really deserves the credit, to really make sure it didn't just pick up on a story where you couldn't pick up or you couldn't intuit the palpable love that was once very present, that was dying out, that made it, the emotional stakes so much higher.
Of course, you need that. You need to see like what they once were, you know, or at least get a hint of that. Stuart, I want to ask you about, you shot this on 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
I wanted to just ask about that choice. Was that always what you wanted to do? Was that a choice for this specific movie?
So all of my shorts, except for one, have always been shot in 35mm. I'm definitely a 35mm fan. And I think for this film, let's just say there was an opportunity for me to shoot on digital. This is the kind of film you have to shoot on 35mm, you know, because westerns have been set in this. Everyone here understands unconsciously what a western feels and looks like. Plus, as well, I mean, 35mm is the most beautiful format. It doesn't look more beautiful than that. And if you care about what your film looks like, you're going to shoot 35mm if you can, you know. We didn't have a huge budget, but we made it work, and our producers were always behind it. You know, it's the first thing that everyone wants to get rid of in the budget, but they stuck behind it, and they understood why. And when you see the film, you understand why. You know,
Yeah.
It's like the colors of the sky and stuff. You know, the purple that we get, we're only getting to shooting 35mm. You know, it's like this really unique color rendition that 35mm gives you, plus the texture and the layers and stuff. So it absolutely was a format of choice. Plus, the other thing about 35mm, which a lot of people don't realize, is it creates a discipline on set, because you live in a world now where you just hit record on an Alexa and you could do 300 takes.
Can't do a series.
Can't do a series that
And
way.
I'll tell you
No,
what-
no, no.
so
She
we're-
said that
so
earlier.
we're
I didn't know what series was.
We're the king and queen of series, so that's why I said like that. And I would just say that to him because like that's what we thrive on.
Sorry.
But it was a good challenge.
Really quickly, when we mean series, we don't mean
Oh, yes,
television
I'm so
series.
sorry.
We mean
I'm sorry, that's the worst thing I could have said.
no. It's
Yeah.
good. Just to clarify,
It's like saying
often then you want to explain what a series
No,
is.
please,
No.
That's so funny to
It's usually you're like, hey, for this one I want to do a series, and what that means is you just run the scene a bunch of times without cutting.
Yeah, like
So-
2 in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If
now
she
you
said
go.
No,
that earlier,
it's
I
just so
didn't.
funny. Turn around, let's king and queen of series.
I
So
king and queen
I'm
of
so
series.
like hurt by that. I'm so sorry.
I've never heard
An
of that.
industry term.
Oh, what?
I've never heard of a series.
Oh, yeah,
before.
oh, yeah, and
But
when
you can't do that on
No, you
35mm.
can't, you
That doesn't
cannot.
No, you're burning.
And
Yeah,
when I
because you're
found that out,
burning.
you know me, and I know you. When I found that out, I was like, oh. But it was good. It was a challenge. It was
Yeah.
great. No, but yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know that was a thing. Actually, I've got to be honest, because I haven't really shot digital. So
Yeah.
you can't do that series. You've
That
got
was
to
the
cut every
biggest
time after
challenge.
thing, and then also you could be in the middle of a scene and the magazine runs out of film.
That doesn't happen to us.
So you've
though,
got to wait
for
for it to
sure.
reload and stuff, you know. So, but it creates a discipline because people know when that film is going through the magazine, people switch on, you know, and that's the difference.
This is a very amateurish question, but is it one of those things where I've only shot on film a couple times, but the thing that really blew my mind every time was that I could hear it in the camera,
But
and that
you
was
shot-
new
you
for
shot
me.
Oppenheimer.
Well, yeah, that was like that's a loud.
That's
That's
loud.
an
65
IMAX
mil
film,
is
but I
loud.
wonder if that's the same. Like Aaron, for you, did you ever like? I don't know. That always trips me up.
I don't remember hearing it.
Yeah, it's there, but it's very
there.
subtle.
It's very
Okay.
subtle.
What you had was very loud.
Yeah, I think
Couldn't hear
relative.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's
I
very
really-
subtle, very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
just-
I think in sound post they do something just reduce that frequency so that you hear it even less. They would have done that with Oppenheimer.
Also, like, you're not, like, you've said this before, but you're very discerning and not, like, instead of making it all about coverage, it's about what will the, like, what aesthetic for this take will provide the best, you know, we'll continue this character-driven plot while also maintaining that beautiful aesthetic, right? So there weren't a lot of, like, it wasn't your typical formulaic, like plan of coverage, and so there are a lot of wides. In other words, there weren't a lot of like close where I would have heard it. I don't think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was far enough. Also, the fans going on, like in that trailer, there are a lot of things going on.
There's a lot
Like
of
we
things
were,
going on.
it felt like we were in the Wild West.
It was.
It did. So a little bit of film sound would not have.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about your choices in. I love when you would just like hold on one shot and you would you know, focus pull between characters. Was there, obviously you had a plan going in, but just walk me through like an average scene. Do you come in with a plan? How often does the plan change on the fly? Just, I don't know, walk me through that.
Yeah, so always I have a shot.
Yeah.
A shot that's done before, even before the DP came on. You know, our DP was French, and he was like, "I've never seen a shot this before." So you know, we went through it, and we interrogated every idea and stuff. But I definitely am a visual filmmaker. I'm not just like going in there and shooting coverage. I do think about that. But so you go in with an idea, but what can often happen is that you block the scene with the actors, and the actors will go, it doesn't feel right for me to be here, it doesn't feel right to go here, and you have to listen to that, you know, because your guys' instincts are like always on point. You know the characters at that moment better than I do, so you have to know how to listen to the actors and what they're feeling, and then in the moment be able to find something interesting, whilst it can change, right? Sometimes there's moments where you're like, guys, like we really want to try and film it this way, can we find a way to make it work? But that's rare, like I don't like imposing that stuff on the actors. But the challenge is really, it's easy to come up with good ideas before you shoot. It's a lot harder to come up with good ideas when things are changing, and that's the skill that you have to develop. I'm still trying to, I've got a long way to go to get to that point, but like, that's what you're trying to do, really. That's the real challenge. If you try and box you guys into a corner and how you want to film it, it's going to create a contrived performance.
I think you did such a great job, and all the actors felt so incredibly free. I have one more question for both of you. You know, you're on this amazing, beautiful location. I want to know, just because I know this is always a thing, was weather ever a factor?
Oh,
Okay,
well.
I'm handing the mic to him.
Fuerteventura translates to strong wind, and you guys didn't even know that, did you? Until
We
you
didn't.
like properly arrived
No, the
for the
Spanish
filming.
local thing, they're like, how's the weather? Oh, it's fine. Would it be windy? No, it wouldn't be windy.
Fuerteventura,
Yeah, it's like
literally
gale force winds
strong.
every-
So like that day that we did the water fight, I was lit, my lips turned blue.
I knew it.
I was hard. You guys needed to give me a break. I was like, I can't work anymore. My lips turned blue.
When someone comes up to us, watch it, don't you put butter on me.
Oh, I literally was like, no, we had to go inside, and the women were like pulling hair dryers up my skirt. I was like, don't you make me do that again. It was strong winds, man. There were days where like, I was like, could you hear us through the takes? But I mean, listen, it's better than a lot of other circumstances that involve snow that we work in, or like rain.
Yeah,
like it was
yeah.
fine, and they were beautiful days. But that's what Fuerteventura.
Yeah, the wind was the one. Outside of that, we were pretty good. It never rained. I don't think it rained once.
No.
Not in a way that affected us.
No.
Anyway. Yeah.
Nice. And then, thank you.
No, just because I remember I watched the scene where you guys were throwing water on each other. I'm like, it was either really hot and this was refreshing, but that's never the case.
One day
It was
hot.
probably freezing cold.
One day I swear to God, my lips turned fucking blue. Do you remember that? I was, yeah. No,
we had to grade them a bit redder.
yeah, that's right.
Did you grade them redder?
I bet you did, yeah.
Like Gina with blue lips doesn't.
Oh,
really
sorry.
No, Gina with blue lips.
Talk about.
Yeah, just Gina with blue lips didn't work, so in the grade we had to just make
Not
it a
driving
little bit
lips.
rosier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was like, I remember we were like, we're so excited to do this one scene with levity, and then we were all, at least, we were all cold. It was like a pretty, and we were all like, oh. And it was the one scene where we got to see the happiness, and that was meant to be the point.
There's
But,
often moments in performing on screen where it's like, yes, clearly, like you guys are absolutely crushing it in these like high dramatic moments, but I think a separate award should go to you pretended like it was boiling hot when it was in fact freezing cold, and you made us all believe it. Like
And I
that's
love it. Like
that's a skill.
you of course think about that, because you will look at, like, I look at an actor in a pool in a scene and I'm like, oh no, like overnight, like a nighttime pool scene, anything like that.
Yeah. Anytime anyone eats, then like they ate
Oh
that
my
thing
God,
a million
I couldn't
times
eat
that
roast
day.
chicken for 5 years once.
Sorry, this is just a little question for both of you. What was it like working with that turtle?
I didn't get to work with it.
So it's actually a tortoise.
Damn it!
I was gonna say, how dare you?
She was like, how dare you? I was like, that tortoise was on his back for like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
and I just
yeah.
rewound it, forwarded it,
Oh.
rewound it, forwarded it. And I can feel everyone in the audience go, oh.
I know.
Trust me, it was there for 3 seconds, and we literally sped it up, rewound it slowly, sped it up. So it looks like it's there kicking and stuff.
Yeah.
We've done it for 3 seconds, and the vet was there. It was all.
No, I'm sure.
all
I'm
kosher, don't worry.
sure it was above board.
Yeah.
No, but it doesn't look like 3 seconds.
No, it doesn't. It looks like it's in
Yeah.
agony, but that was the point. Yeah. There's camera trickery. It's not real.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I think I just have.
Hello. I have one last question for you, Erin. Just in terms of, I mean, obviously it's all very subjective, but for you, what do you think Gina's obviously, this whole story is about her kind of, her own agency. Do you think it was always her plan to leave, or do you think she's kind of doing this within the moment, like as the movie's taking place?
I think that it's like this weird timing when this couple arrives. I think that she is based on like this thing. Like Stuart and I have a similar approach, and it was really cool because Jai is very different from us, but like balances us out because we're both really granular, bordering on neurotic, I feel like. So we came up with like a really extensive backstory. And I'm just laughing because we would ask Jai one thing and it would be like just wildly inappropriate about something that wouldn't have been applicable. But meanwhile, he and I were building up the most like granular, detailed backstory for Gina. So the point is I forget your question.
The question was, what do you think Gina's plan was?
Okay, here we go. So basically, like at the start of the film, we meet her when obviously like she's drawing, and I think that first scene where she's drawing, he comes in and she hides it, says a lot, right? Like he is desperate to keep her, and the reality is they had a very, very genuine love. But what happens when you take two people that come from circumstances that involve childhoods and upbringings and just past, where you don't have the resources or the psychological tools to like take care of yourself, let alone like when you love someone so much, and they both only have each other. And I think that's what's heartbreaking about it. They both love each other so much, they're each other's world. But she starts to think about, you see the critical thinker in her, and you see her sort of starting to look around and wonder what else is there, what, like, you know, in terms of like even just going to town with him, like something's up. So when this couple arrives, and the second she switches and she realizes that they're not there for any reason that involves like spying on Clyde, and she puts the knife down, is the second she switches and she realizes, oh my God. And I do think we can have those moments in life that just all of a sudden instinctually and viscerally we're like, oh, this is a window that just opened and it's ajar, and I'm gonna like burst through it. But I think she realizes in that moment what this could be, and I think it develops. So I think it's very much in the moment. The get-go, I think she's just suffering from her like suffocating situation and trying to also grasp the reality of the man that she really does love. And she doesn't want to hurt him, but she's just in so much pain that it becomes about, you know, getting out.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, this was such a wonderful movie. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Vertical. Thank you all for being here again.
Thank you, Jack Quaid.
Yeah, whatever.
So much,
Of course, I asked the question. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing night.
Thank you for coming.
Congrats, everyone.